Om Shanti. Welcome. Welcome everyone for this Monday workshop series. As always, every Monday we get together with a special guest speaker with a unique experience, unique spiritual experience to share their personal journey to spirituality, their personal journey to God Himself. So, as you know, this journey of spirituality, like you hear in the path of Brahma Kumaris, where Baba says that it is a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage of remembrance. So remembrance means there is something need to be activated. Some memory has to come alive, right? So especially when you have to jog your memory, something that happened last year or in your childhood, there is something sitting in your conscious mind, and then you can pull that memory back. But now Baba is asking us to invoke the memory of how it feels to be divine, how it feels to be you, the living angel. So it is a hard task Baba gives. So one way to recall our memory is through the sharings. When you hear, when you listen to the personal experiences, especially with God, something which is not so physically tangible, something that cannot be comprehended with our worldly intellect or material intellect. So here is where, when we get to hear, something deep within our consciousness comes alive. My request, as you listen through the personal sharings of Sister Awatif, today we have with us Sister Awatif from Bahrain. She comes from a Islamic background. She is a very deep lover of God before she come to Baba, and then we get to hear more about it. And she's going to take us through this journey of moving away from darkness and moving into the light, into the God's light. So without any further ado, I invite Sister Awatif. Sister Awatif has been on this journey of Ruhaniyat, the spirituality, for the last over a couple, 1.5 decade, if I may use. She has served Baba through her heart. She has served the humanity through her heart, and she has been a board member of a lot of non-profit organizations, especially in the health arena. And presently, she is the president of Bahrain Meditation Centre, which is Baba Center in Bahrain. Without any further ado, I invite Sister Awatif. Welcome. So I just want to give a little glimpse about my personal experience with Sister Awatif. She's a very soft-spoken, very gentle soul. I got a chance to work with her in one of the programs in Delhi, international program, all the double foreigners put up in Delhi in a huge stadium. She was helping coordinate with a lot of activities there. You know, once you come to India, everything happens spontaneously, a lot of surprises. So I saw her so gracefully handling everything. So it was a very pleasant time with the Sister Awatif. Without any further ado, I invite Sister Om Shanti. Welcome.
Om Shanti. Is the sound okay?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning. It is almost 4:30 plus here in Bahrain. So it is so early for me for verbal communication. So let's take a few moments to invoke Baba all together. Thank you. Actually, thank you, Harsha, bye, and thank you, the Concern Center in America. Sometimes, although we think we reflect in our journey, but in many times we don't feel that we reflect enough. And when you give more time and you give concentration, you recall things which you did not recall before. So if I will say about my journey with Baba, it is, in essence, it is completely a new life. Completely new life. I have got what I did not ever expect to get. I have got what I never expect to get. Purpose of life, being anchored on truth given by Baba, which really led me during this difficult life and helped me to sail in the ups and downs in my life. So we'll start the journey step by step. I prepared simple PowerPoint just to help both of us to be on the same track. So let me share this PowerPoint. I liked the name which you, Harsha Bai, gave to this meeting, Going Beyond with Baba's Loving Light. It is really that loving light which took me from the beginning to the middle till the end, and will continue till the end to be really the guiding light. So I put a few bullets. These are the things which I will handle. My life before Baba, when my journey with Baba started, and in that journey, a new direction, and summarizing the fruits which I have reaped, and then the service when it was the time to share. So the first chapter, my life before Baba. I diagnosed my life as a happy life. I was born in a simple family. I was the fourth one. We were total 7 children. And my dream was to be a doctor. And I was lucky that I have got a scholarship from the ministry to study medicine. Otherwise, financially, my father will not be able to handle that. So I studied medicine. I started in 1974. I finished in 1982 in Egypt. And in 82 in Bahrain, I joined the ministry. In the same year, I started my specialty in family medicine. And in the same year, I got married to my husband after a love story, which lasted for a few years while I was studying. So when the dark time started in my life, it started in the end of 2003. My husband was complaining of headache, and one day he was trying to pray, but he could not manage to pray. He fell down, and I took him to the hospital. And the same day, they have done the scan, and they diagnosed him as advanced brain cancer, 4th stage. While I was going to the admission room, finishing his papers, admission papers, the tears were in my eyes. And I was very sure that our life will never continue to be as it was. And that journey of that dark time continued. So in January 2004, I traveled with my husband and with my brother to USA, to America, to Cleveland for treatment. And there, my husband undergone the surgery and then the radiotherapy and the chemotherapy. And then one day the doctors called me for a meeting. They told me that we are doing and we continue to do as much as we can do for a case like your husband. But the expectant lifetime for your husband is ranging from 6 months to 2 years. Although I knew that it is not an easy situation and I realized that early enough, but when I heard the figures, it was like the time stopped for me. And after I finished the meeting, I moved to my husband's hospital room with a very heavy heart. I don't know how I reached to the room. When I reached to the room, my brother was there, and of course my husband and my son, who was studying in Canada at that time, he came to USA. They were planning to go for dinner, and they asked me if I want to go. I told them no, and I needed that time to be with myself. The thought which came to me, there is no room for me to surrender at all. My husband needs me, and my children need me. I had 4 children at that time. The youngest one was 6 years. So that was the peak of my dark time. Based on that, my journey with Baba started. So when next day I started to ask, because I feel that I cannot stand alone to support myself. I started to ask, where can I get some support? And they guided me to a place. It's named A Place for People Touched with Cancer. And there I went with my brother. And when I entered there, I met a sister there, and I told her about my story, and she took me to a quiet room with my brother for meditation. A guided meditation. It was kind of visualization. I liked the experience. I felt calm after that experience, and I decided to take it seriously. And I bought some books, I bought some guided meditation cassettes. And from that time, when we were in Cleveland, I started practicing meditation every day, practicing that kind of meditation. And then in March, we came back to Bahrain. And by chance, I was with my hairdresser as usual routine visit. A close one. She is a British one, and I usually speak with her on personal things when I go. So I told her about everything happened, and she asked me, "Do you know that there is a meditation center in Bahrain?" Of course, I did not know, and she gave me the number, and I called the center, and I took appointment for the first course. I went there on the first day of the course, and I started the course. I enjoyed the material. I enjoyed the knowledge. I enjoyed the experience to a great extent. And The first part was connecting with the soul, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I was feeling that, okay, I am connecting with the soul, I'm getting experience. My feeling was it is excellent experience, but as if there was a seal which I did not cross, a seal that says that there is something else beyond. And that was uncovered on the day of connecting with the divine. On the day of connecting with the divine, it was a special experience for me. I was lucky to be able to connect with God, with Baba in that session and in the following experiences when I was practicing meditation in the house. What I have done that I started practicing every day, even if 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Before I moved to the office, I used to sit in meditation and then move to the office. Still at that time, I did not start practicing early morning meditation. So then my journey with my husband continued, and in August of 2004, I was sending his MRI results to the doctor in Cleveland and periodically. And when they saw the MRI, they told me that he will need a kind of radiotherapy, and they wanted me to go back to USA. So I went back to USA, and we finished that treatment. And I planned in the same year, while coming back, to attend Oxford retreat. It was first retreat for Middle East at that time. I was there in Baba's home with my husband, and my daughter came over, and also my sister. That was a special experience for me to be in that atmosphere of Baba's home in a gathering. And I was happy that my husband was exposed to that atmosphere. At that time, I was exposed to the 4 o'clock meditation, but it was not easy for me in the beginning. Till little by little later on, I started to take that more seriously. When I know Baba more and more as he is. And of course, we never reach to a stage that we know Baba as he is, but we are just progressing and progressing and progressing. And in the same, then that was in 2004. After 1 year, in 2005, in August 2005, my husband's health deteriorated suddenly in the evening. He was supported by my son in the bathroom, and then suddenly the body of my husband became heavy, and my son laid him on the floor, and I called the ambulance. We took him to emergency. He was admitted to ICU at that time for 1 night only. Next time, he passed away. He left his body after even a few times of trial to resuscitate him, but that did not succeed. So that was really a big event in my life. It was not easy for me to see my daughter throwing her body on her father's body, crying in pain. It was not easy for me to see my elder son brought to the scene by his colleague. And my second son, he was just sitting there and crying, who was studying in the university at that time. And my last son, the 6 years old one, I asked him, do you want to see your father? He is behind this screen, this curtain in the ICU. He said, no, I don't want to see him. So that was a very tough time for me. What I am very sure about, if I did not come to Baba, at least early enough in this drama and this problem for me, my situation will not be the same. I will not be holding myself the way that I could manage as much as possible to hold myself. It is not that there was no pain. There was pain. And the memories were passing in front of me. The memories of my life with him and with the family. The memories of being a very loving husband, a very careful and loving father. And the memories that when he used to tell me, Awatif, when we retire, we will travel all over the world. We'll spend our time traveling. And I used to tell him, the selfish one is the one who will leave the second one earlier. And that's what happened. He left earlier than me. I was before the death of my husband, I registered for Peace of Mind in India, Peace of Mind retreat with Sister Arona. And there was the thought whether to go or not to go. And my family encouraged me to go. They told me, go. So I went there, and that was again a wonderful, wonderful experience. Being there, I was wondering what can heaven be better than this place? Peaceful, pure, beautiful, and filled with harmony. And one of the experiences which I remember very well is my experience also when I was listening to Brother Nirware about connecting with the divine. That also, that gave me a great experience at the same time and left imprints in my subconscious. That still I remember. And I remember at that time, Sister Arona entered the hall immediately after Brother Nirware finished his session. And I could not hold myself to stand and embrace her and thanking her for bringing me to this place. Then in 2005, 2006, I was introduced to the Murli in the afternoon. I was, the two sisters were reading for me the Murli in the afternoon. I did not choose to come in the morning because I start my morning at 7 o'clock in the work, and I thought that there will be lots of discussion in the morning before I go to work. So I continued to take it in the afternoon. So this is where my journey with Baba started. And in the next slide, I will show the next direction, the new direction. In 2007, Sister Gianti visited Bahrain. And she spent a few days here in Bahrain, which were very beautiful days with the angel, I can say. And then she went to Kuwait. And in Kuwait, she had a retreat, and I joined her with my sister in that retreat. She was in one of the sessions again, she was just sharing about Baba, about God. And I was just crying. My eyes were full of tears. And my sister was asking me, why are you crying? I told her she is talking about God. And again, that was a beautiful experience and beautiful time in that retreat. And I remember while bidding farewell to Sister Gianti, she was telling me, come to Madhuban. You know, the way Sister Gianti is so gentle. Come to Madhuban. And from that time, I decided that I want to attend Murli every day in the morning. And next day, I was there in the center after I arrived Bahrain and attending every day. I was so glad that the Murli is there every day. There is no off. I used to be in the weekend to sleep for a long time. But after this experience and after practicing early morning meditation, My early morning is really early, and it is one of the best period in my day. And so I was attending Murli every day, enjoying the Murli and imbibing and trying to ask whenever I need to understand something. And really, the truth in Baba's Murli was very evident for me. Uh, I I felt and I was sure that it is really something coming from beyond the mentality and beyond the intellect of a human being, and trying to apply as much as possible in my daily life. And then in October 2007, I was eligible to meet Baba. I met Baba, and again, the tears came. Just sitting, I prepared myself before the meeting in silence. And although I had some difficulty in the translation set and my colleagues helped me quickly, but I experienced that connection with Baba in that meeting. I was again crying, feeling that he was speaking with me, talking with me, and the energy was so high for me that it stayed with me. Even after finishing the meeting, I needed to stay around, moving and moving with, and my colleagues from Bahrain stayed with me, because I felt that I cannot go to sleep with that high energy. And my experience is always with Baba's Milan. The next day, I prefer to meditate alone. Even if I am in Madhuban, I prefer to sit alone. I prefer that it is a continuation of the meeting before, in the night before, that I want to stay with Baba alone. And during the ring ceremony, again, another time, which was very beautiful, I sat in silence for a while in that ceremony till my turn come. And Sister Mira was the one there. And I was really feeling an experience of love that is reaching deeply to the heart. And again, I was crying again, and my sister Mira embraced me after putting the ring for me. So every station with Baba is beautiful. And the beautiful thing that, yes, there are those major occasions to be with Baba, to meet Baba, and to experience that. But the good thing and the beautiful thing in our life, that occasion is created every day at Amrit Billah time, that sweet time, to refill, to recharge, and to experience God's love. Daddy Janki gave me the name Bhavna, because my name is Awatif. Awatif comes from feelings and emotions in Arabic. So Daddy Janki called me Bhavna. And I remember that one day she came to Bahrain, visited Bahrain during the conferences. And she was telling me in a session with her, she was telling me, you were there during Brahma Baba time. That's what she told me. And in one of the occasions in a public program, I was there sharing about Daddy Janki. And she was telling, because I was standing sharing, and she was sitting beside Sister Arona, who was translating what I was saying. She told Sister Arona in Hindi, of course, she is incognito, and Sister Arona translated to me at the same time. One of my experiences, of course, many experiences with Daddy Janki, I mean, experiencing her energy, experiencing how when she enters the hall, the energy in the hall is increasing dramatically. And one of my experiences with her, which really made me determined about doing as much as I can do with effort with Baba. We were in Nairobi. I was there and Daddy Janki was there. Of course, people were invited to open the retreat center. And at that day, I was supposed that early morning, I was supposed to be sitting on the side, conducting meditation with Daddy Janki. I was there sitting, and she was brought by Hansa Ben. And still I can recall the way that she is taking her breath. It was winter, the day she was, and the way that she is moving, not easy, but light at the same time, feeling that she is coming to connect with Baba and help others to connect with Baba. So that experience I can never forget. Daddy Janki at that age with that health issue and struggling to come in the morning in lightness to do what she is supposed to do. So that is a great lesson for me to do the effort and lightly and to enjoy it because Baba is with us. Of course, after that, I was meeting Baba every year, and I had the opportunity to have two short personal meetings with Baba in 2009 and 2010. Baba's message during the 2009: if souls like you come to Baba and recognize Baba, service will happen very fast. You are very cooperative. You are a very good hand, and you can be a messenger of God. So you can spread the message of Baba to everyone. And this was the second message in 2010. You are a messenger and you are going to benefit your clan. And you are going to give peace message to every soul. So those messages for me during those personal meetings, of course, a kind of a great motivator for me, and at the same time gave me a sense of responsibility. Motivator, of course, since Baba is saying that to me, and of course responsibility because he said that I have the responsibility of helping the people who are in the same clan to be with Baba, to recognize Baba. So we will continue the journey. Just a question to Harsha Bhai. Do you want me to continue or do you want to stop a few minutes for meditation?
This is really beautiful, Awatif, man. It will be nice if you can take us into that experience of how it felt to be with Baba in Madhuban, having these personal meetings. Okay. And you can take us into meditation as a meditation commentary.
Okay, so you want me to take that during meditation commentary?
That's right. Thank you.
Okay. So I will stop sharing. Going back to that time. Where in the beginning, nothing is clear for me. Nothing is revealed to me other than the pain and the dark time. It did not come to my mind at all that I'll be saved by God. I'll be embraced by His love. I'll be filled with the warmth of His truth and purity. Starting meditation, it's something, but having that accurate connection and the smooth, powerful flow of God's energy to me and inside me, the soul, is something that is beyond any thought and beyond any expectations. And then meeting Baba face to face is another amazing experience. Deep experience, filling the mind with His energy, allowing the intellect to absorb the truth and to realize, yes, this is Baba. This is Baba. I did not feel that I was looking for him, but he realized that I needed him and came at the right time, not only in meditation, but also face to face. During that meeting, every word of Baba was pounding softly and powerfully in the intellect, and the experience was not only at the level of the mind and intellect, but it was reaching to the heart, to all the corners of the heart. Softly, firmly anchoring that energy in the heart and aligning the heart to the intellect, to the mind, bringing a very powerful experience. That I always wish that I stay in that experience. Being in Baba's meeting, talking to us all is great. And feeling that he was speaking to me in that meeting is greater. But when a time comes and Baba speaks to me personally, that was not imagined at all, not planned for at all, and was not even in my dream. Words of love, words that elevated me high. The heart expanded more and more, and the intellect is armed more with determination and enthusiasm, and a sense of soft responsibility was there. When Baba says you are a messenger, when Baba says you will spread the message to your clan, he said it means I can do it. And in those meetings, it is a mixed experience of love that brought the highest potential in me at that time, power, energy, determination, and decision. It's time to do and to be what Baba sees that I can be and I can do. And the journey continued. Om Shanti. Thank you, brothers and sisters. So shall we continue the journey?
Yes, please.
So what was the effect of that connection, of that journey with Baba? Of course, the effect of his love during communications and in between was very evident for me. When I started meditation, it was, as I said, it was in 2004, and I started taking the Raja Yoga meditation also in 2004. So At that time, I was the chief of medical staff in primary care in the health centers in Bahrain. And the timetable is very busy, very congested. And we are reporting to different levels, starting from the assistant undersecretary to undersecretary to the minister, based on assignments, reports we're supposed to, or for example, handling a complaint of a patient, or handling cases like epidemic or something, whatever is emerging. So meditation, being with Baba, helped me to be quiet and peaceful in spite of the very busy day, in spite of that agenda, which is full, which is very full. It helped me to organize myself. The concentration which increased with that meditation helped me to, when I sit to work on a report or something, it is taking less time than what used to take. And my purpose in life it became very clear for me. Before that, maybe my purpose was related to my career or to my children or to my family. But my purpose in life is very clear. And before I talk about my purpose in life, in essence, although I came to Baba to get out of a pain, to be saved from that pain, yet being with Baba took me much, much beyond that. That was like the excuse that pulled me. But being with Baba, it took me beyond that to a new life, to transcend beyond my daily struggles and my daily problems, to be able to see the unlimited, not to be engrossed in the limited. It took me to a level higher. And my purpose in life to be as Baba wants me to be. He sees the perfect me. And I want to reach that perfect me which Baba is seeing. The perfect, complete, based on my potential, I, the soul. And Baba knows that potential. And in 2007, also in the same year, when Sister Genti came to Bahrain, I was asking her a question: how can I know my weaknesses? How can I know the things that I need to work on? She told me, every time you are disheartened or in pain, that means that there is something going on, and you need to work on yourself to overcome that weakness. And that answer for me was an indicator which I continued to take since that time till now. Whenever I am disheartened, whenever I am upset, that means I am disconnected. That means I need to see what was the thoughts, what were the feelings, and based on that to work to improve myself. One of my my traits was anger. I was an angry person, and my children were used to use, the mark Nike for the sport marks. So whenever I snapped them, they said Nike, Nike. And they were teasing me, even if not in front of me, at the back of myself. They were teasing me, and they were joking with my husband about this habit. And but with time, my son was telling his auntie, my sister was telling her, auntie, now there are no Nikes. And my husband, sorry, my father, he noticed the difference. And he was telling me, Awatif, what is this meditation? You were the most angry person among your sisters and brothers, and now you are the most peaceful. And you were the one who is speaking the quickest way of speaking. You had the quickest way of speaking, and now you are speaking very slowly. And of course, my family also observed that change. And one of the things which really gave me the feeling that Baba is with me in many of the situations, that drama unfolds in my favor, and many times I'm sure that many of you experience the same. So I remember, like in the office, when I go in the morning and the timetable is full, my secretary is a close one. So I was telling her, I hope that some of these meetings is cancelled because I want to do something else. And then after a while, she comes to me, she said, the meeting is cancelled. The same way which I wished in the morning to have the things happen, then the meeting is cancelled, come to me. And it is repeated in many times. That gave me a kind of, I am not alone. I am accompanied by the one. Of course, that gave me lots of motivation, satisfaction, and contentment, and being closer to Baba. And this is just an example. I'm sure you experience some of these, and I also experienced other than this. So the time came to share. The thing started in 2008, 2009. At that time, there was a student who was taking the English course with the sister in the center. But that student was absent, and she came after finishing the course. So the sister asked her, do you want to take the course in English or you want to take it in Arabic? And she is Bahraini person. So she said, I want to take it in Arabic. And of course, if she wants to take it in Arabic, the sister approached me to do that. And that was the first experiment for me. Experiment. It was really experiment to give her the course. I was so enthusiastic. I started the foundation, and I started and then the intermediate, and I continued with her about the lifestyle, including celibacy. And that was really not the right time. She listened to all of this, and then I did not see her back. So that was a great learning lesson for me, to really to touch the pulse and to feel the pulse, and especially in our area. So after that, the students were in the following course, they were 2 students. And with this course, of course, I was careful. I did not progress until I feel that I can progress. And of course, to go to intermediate and to advance in our area quickly, that is not advisable. We finish the foundation, we touch the pulse, feel the pulse, see how much the soul can take, and we choose people. We don't, even if they ask for something more, we choose whom to give something more. And then the course, the number increased. For example, they were attending like 60, 80 people, and the hall was big in our center. And in addition to the activities in the center, there was the outreach to community. They were inviting us, like to ministries, Ministry of Labor, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Social Development, to universities, to College of Health Sciences, to societies, to many organizations. They were asking, and then we based on that go. We don't approach them. We are waiting for them to approach us, unless if there is pre-agreement on that. And part of the service that in Bahrain, we have around 4 to 5 international conferences. So I was part of that team in translation and doing something, supporting. And so that was part of the service also. Of course, during Zoom with COVID, the Zoom is open to all the countries. So the announcements of the course was going to everywhere. So at that time, we had the opportunity to have people from different countries, Arab countries, and Arab people who are residing in European country, or who are residing in non-Arab countries. And the number on Zoom was reaching to 150, 200, even if all of them don't continue the course, but at least the opportunity was there, and whoever comes and takes, and whoever choose to continue, that is great. And since that time, since April, at that time, 2 years back, we started online meditation, and we have 2 days for the Arabic online meditation, Sunday and Wednesday. And it continued up till now. So that was the service. I will show a few photos, which I just quickly, just to have the sense of the service. So this is a service in capital municipality. So I was giving the talk here, and then this is the end, a group photo. See, many people are with hijab. The majority are with hijab. This is with Ministry of Education. It was about values. We introduced the peace value, and we were a team, and we did that in coordination with Ministry of Education. This is a group of family practice residency program, which are doctors who are studying family medicine. 2 groups came to us in 2 successive years, and they came in the center. This was in the center, but they came, it was only for them, for that group. This is last week in June, Ministry of Education, they wanted a session, so I went there, and of course in the session there is always experiences, 3 to 4 experiences based on the length of the session. So there was meditation, and I had the opportunity to serve also in Dubai. Like I was going periodically. I stopped during COVID, but now in September I will go a service trip there. So the courses, mainly I give the Arabic courses, and also to be with Arabic Morley students, as sustaining them during my presence there, and some talks. Then also in Cairo, I went to Cairo 2 or 3 times before, again giving the course and some talk and some experiences and workshop. And now we are given a turn to cover in Cairo, each one of us to cover in Cairo Center for a while. And on 9th of June, I'll be going. In Morocco, I've been there maybe 2 to 3 times. One of them, Sister Genti was there. And another occasion, I was with a French sister and English sister to give some activities. And also I was a part of course, our Middle East team. Like we have the Oxford retreats for Arab is arranged by Middle East team. Inner Peace, Inner Power retreats in India are arranged by Middle East service team. And of course, I was part of that team. This is during Yoga Day in Dubai. During Yoga Day in Dubai, I don't recall the year, maybe 2018, something like this. And going back to the family. So these are my 4 children. This one who is graduated. He was the one who was 6 years old. This was in his graduation. He studied law in Canterbury, and now he is working in UK, in Leeds. So this is my core family, the 3 boys and 1 girl. And even with my presence in the Alokik service, I did not ignore my service as Lokik service. I was during being in the hospital, I was there taking care with them, helping them to take care of their children. And this is the family now. It is bigger. And now I have 6 grandchildren. The photo with my grandchildren, one is missing because he was sleeping. So there are 5 boys and one girl. These are, and I am lucky to have such family. They are understanding. They are supportive for me in my journey. And on 9th of June, it is a day of Eid in Bahrain, the big Eid, which is festival. And I asked them, is it okay for you to go on that day? All of them, they agreed, and they gave me their permission. They agreed, and they are happy for me to go there and serve. So this is the last, I think, yes. Thank you for your patience and for being present. Thank you so much. So what you want me, Harsha, Ben, to do? Harsha, bye, sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Thank you. It's really beautiful. Let me just switch the mic. Can you hear me now? Cool. It's really beautiful how you took us through the whole journey, and we can see the whole transformation that you brought, not only within the Laukik family, you won the hearts of the Laukiks and also the whole community. In fact, like Baba was giving you a blessing that you will become the messenger, you'll spread the Baba's message to everyone. And then we can see from the pictures that they are not reaching just to Indians who are living in Middle East, but you're actually reaching out to the core of the branch. Yeah. And I personally come from Hyderabad, where 50% of my friends or population there is also Muslims, and I have a very high respect for Islam, and especially my friends who have very deep connection with God in a pure way, right? So they don't go into the image, they always go beyond image, and they keep God untampered as much as possible with the human images and human experiences. And my question for you is, from your personal journey, what was that turning point where you felt this is Allah, this is the Noor of Allah, and I am God's child, I am also beyond form? What is that point where you felt that what I was been practicing in Quran and what I'm hearing here in a practical way, this is the same Allah who is talking to me? When was that turning point when you felt that this is it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. For me, I think during the course, connecting with God happened, and it was very obvious for me. It is different than any other previous connection. From that time, I felt it, and that's what brings me to meditation every time, to recall and to re-experience that experience. And again, also, I was getting tears while I was connecting with him and sensing his energy. So it was from the beginning, and then it progressed, and that what helped me, that from the beginning I was practicing meditation every day. That helped me in my journey. I did not stop. Yes, waking up early happened later when I become more advanced with Baba, intermediate, and all of this. But uh, for me, from the beginning, I felt that energy. And that experience becomes deeper, of course, with Murli, with understanding of the drama, with getting some points which touch the heart, and that brings the experience deeper. But the sense of God's energy, it was from the beginning.
Beautiful. So it is the experience
Yes.
that helped you to comprehend and take it further.
Yes.
So now the question on the same lines is, especially coming from Islamic background, where uh, it's really not right to mix God with humans, right? And especially there may be some sanskara or a period of time, or maybe previous births, right, where especially when God is worshipped in the human form, especially coming from Hindu background, the images are all human images, and Islam is very much takes God beyond human images. So how did you work with that part within you, especially when it comes to a Murli about you, when you start looking at Lakshmi Narayan picture, when you start listening to the stories of Ramayana and Mahabharata and Maya and all this stuff. So in a subtly, what went in within your conscience, and then how did you sort it out, that battle that went within you? And why I'm asking this thing is, I'm sure whatever you have going through, that similar thing will be going through the students who you will be reaching out to, right? And I see I mean, looking at the pictures and then what I heard, the service there is flourishing, and then the souls are taking full benefit from Baba and Baba's angels there. So there is something that is working out really right, which is bringing them very close to God in their own version, right? And so if you can share a little bit about that uh, bridge of Lakshmi Narayan, Ramayan, Mahabharata, and all this kind of Jamela that comes up in the Murlis. I mean, coming from in Hindu background, it's very much resonates with me. But coming from the totally different background, which is against that kind of concept, there will be some confusion that will stir up, right? So how did you sorted it out? How are you helping the souls there to come closer, to go beyond all of that Jamila?
Thank you. Uh, Again, in the beginning, because as you said, at that time, only connection with Baba, connection with God, and for us in Islam, that God without an image, and so God is love. And I used to, when I was praying, I used also to cry, experiencing His love. Your question is valid. Actually, when it comes to Murli, even when I started the Murli, when after I met Sister Janti, I thought, why should I deprive myself from this truth? I don't need to accept it all in the beginning, but I should not deprive myself from what is truth in the Murli. So I started the Murli on that base, that I will take whatever I am comfortable with and whatever touches my heart, and I will continue with that, and I will leave aside the things which does not suit me. And that helped me a lot, because I know that there is something excellent in this truth, and I do not want to deprive myself. So I started on that way. I don't focus on every single point, just to stay here stuck, and to not to explore and to experience the truth there. I realized that Baba is speaking that language and giving those images because he came in that culture. Like when Quran came also, the language of Quran speaking about the culture in Arabic, in Arab people, which might not be applicable to people in India. to all the stories. So that part made me more happy, more contented. I for even for the stories and for the images, I try to take the truth essence of that more than the image and the shape. In the beginning, yes, when Baba speaks about Lakshmi, Narayan, when I did not grow enough, sometimes it caused a little bit of Jamila or upheaval. It was not considerable, not too much, but there is sense, the body consciousness of being Muslim, and someone else is giving me facts and things about another religion. The body consciousness was there, and we are gradually overcoming the body consciousness, but did not stop me, did not impair my journey. I continued to take what I want and to keep aside what I don't, which I don't accept. Now, of course, there is more understanding, and there is that issue is not there. We realize why Baba is speaking in this way, and I am from the type of I don't dig also in the details of the stories. For me, it is important to know what is the essence, what Baba wants us to get from the story, but not to be engrossed in all the stories. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank you. It's really beautiful how you put together, recognizing that there is something which is needed for the soul, and having that ability to discern that, of course, there is some part which is triggering my body conscious or the limited self, right? And not allowing that body conscious self to take over or jeopardize your opportunity to get closer to God. So that's beautiful how you put together learning that skill to discern which part of within me is getting activated when I listen to Murli. So on that note, the question is like, what in the Murli you find the sweetness about, especially when we listen to 6 days of Sakar Murli. Sakar Murli, personally it resonates very well for me because I can see the bhavna behind every story, bhavna behind every wave of Baba's sharing. But where do you find the sweetness, especially when you're listening to Sakar Murli? Or if you can share some of the things that Baba shares, that it is very dear, it makes you feel closer. Yes, this is God. Yes, this is my God. This is my loving beloved. What is that in the Murlis that makes you feel that sweetness of God? Or if you can give some phrases that comes to your mind.
When he speaks very closely, imagine every day morning he is saying, sweet children. And and then in the salutation, to the sweetest beloved, long lost and now found children. When he stresses on remembrance, when Baba says, you are in my eyes, these words of being close to him. And I am touched also when sometimes I think about something and I get the answer next day in the Murli. That touches me a lot and makes me feel that yes, the truth is aligned to what is going on inside me. The truth is aligned to what is going on inside me. I remember in one of the Murlis, it was Sunday Murlis. In the morning, I was thinking that by time we will not be aware that these are the steps which we take in order to take a decision. Taking decision by time will come naturally and without thinking of why and what and balancing. And in the same Murli, I don't recall the phrase, Baba spoke about the same thing. Baba spoke about the same thing, that by time uh, taking decision will happen in a natural way without going into details. I don't remember the phrase now. I think those parts, and in essence, the parts which shows how close he is to us, and I came to take you back home with me, and the sense that Baba could not bear to see us in pain, and he came to recreate me the soul, and to recreate me the soul, to bring me back using his loving silence to affect the energy of the soul and bringing back the soul to its fullest potential. So his words which express about he being close to us, and those occasions when I get an question, I get the answer. And there are occasions also other than this occasion that I think of something, it comes not as an answer, it comes the same way in the Murli. And so I cannot really recall specific phrases, but it is whole the package, being every day to listen to Baba, and especially Abhyak Murlis, when it is added, Brahma Baba's experience are added to the Abhyak Murli, and that makes us also feel that yes, they are with us. They feel when Brahma Baba says, even when I eat, I sometimes I forget Baba. So that makes us feel that he feels our feeling. I think these are the things which I can touch, and maybe I want to point out here the importance of silence. The silence is, for me, I am giving it a prime importance in my journey. Giving it a prime importance because really what what if we put in our mind that the soul who will be in the golden age, the soul who will be in the golden age is the same soul who is now. So I need more silence in addition to the knowledge, to close the gap and be in that form that Baba sees that we are eligible for the golden age. And I remember in one of the silence retreats, after maybe 2-3 days of silence, in one of the meditations, I experienced what is really soul consciousness. What is what is peace? What is bliss? What are the virtues that are emanating from the soul in soul consciousness? And I sense that this is the same energy which will be of the soul in the golden age, which is very subtle and prominent at the same time. And that shows us where is the gap between where we are now and where we're supposed to be in that experience. So so silence is also very important in the journey, and it is important in the journey of every single one of us, but I give that also importance. One of the questions which I had before, two questions I had before I come to meditation. I had two questions. One question, are only Muslims going to go to heaven? What about others? And the answer came very clear for me. Of course, after I came to Baba, it became very clear to me. And the second question, okay, we go to heaven, and then what next? What happens after that? So again, the answers came later. What happens after that? So I hope that the answer was enough, I mean, based on your question.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's very interesting right now. So we are meeting you from Anubhuti Retreat Center. So what you're seeing here is some of the participants from the retreat. They're also attending your session now, and the very theme of this retreat is invoking the divinity, and the theme was introversion. And you very well essentially put the whole retreat in one word: silence. So in going into that silence, experiencing what it feels to be in the golden age, experiencing that pure peace, love, and bliss coming from within yourself, and recognizing this is what is going, this stage of mine is what going to continue in the golden age, and finding the gap, and then doing whatever it needs, whatever work or effort it needs to make that natural state natural. And definitely silence is a big part of it. Thank you very much. And on that note, I'm going to the next question around Brahma Baba. So what is your relationship with Brahma Baba?
My relationship with the Brahma Baba. When again, when the ego of body consciousness of being Muslim, in the beginning, to see, and we have Muhammad, the messenger in Islam. And when we see that this man, Brahma Baba, will be Adam later, Adam, and then of course Eve. So in the beginning, that was a kind of, I will not say, a kind of little note there, little note that I need to open. But with time, continuing listen to the Sakar Murli and Avyak Murli, and knowing Brahma Baba's story and his role in all of this, that note was opened, and my relationship with the Brahma Baba is beautiful. And if I tell you, my last thing before I sleep at night is my head on the lap of Bab Dada and their hand on my head. And the moment I do that, khalas, I go to sleep. So it is a strong relationship as father of humanity, as father of me, the Brahmin. So it's very powerful and very, very sweet.
Thank you. That was really beautiful what you mentioned. To build that relationship with Brahma Baba, the Sakar Mulis play a big role. Understanding the bhavna from which Sakar Baba comes has a strong place in building that relationship with Brahma Baba. Thank you very much. If anyone have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We're almost coming close to the time. Anyone have any questions here in the hall? So everyone is soaking in to this beautiful sharing. Awatif Ben.
Thank
So
you.
I want to point out one thing about the whole branch of our family, human family, especially the Muslim and Islam family. I always look up to them when it comes to the quality of faith in God. So they have, faith is always backed by love. And of course, as we start going further away from our true self and going more body conscious, we want to hold on to that. The same faith may look more stronger and more resisting and forceful, but the deep down, the underlying quality of the whole branch, I feel, is the faith, and faith is again love for God. I'm so grateful for connecting to the whole of the branch, to our angel sister, Awatif. If you can take few minutes to guide us through a meditation, and then we can wrap up. Thank you.
Sitting relaxedly and shutting the doors to all what is going on outside, including what we have just listened and shared. We turn within to that throne behind the eyes. It is soft and powerful throne where we, the souls, sit. And we focus on that awareness. And while we focus on that awareness, we become more anchored in the awareness of the immaterial, immortal, timeless point awareness. And the centeredness increases. And the more we focus, we reach and experience the silence and the beauty within. And here, we are attracted to communicate with the supreme point, like the attraction of the needle to the magnet. And in that connection, we allow the pure energy, the complete energy, the loving energy of the divine of Baba to envelop the soul and to penetrate the soul softly and powerfully. And we stay in that experience, the point the soul in a strong connection with the Supreme, just absorbing and receiving and flourishing. the soul is revived. And the heart is filled and relaxed and content. And the mind is so stable with a few thoughts. Taking this experience with us, we move slowly, slowly from the inner world to the awareness of the body, to here and now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your talk. My name is Halima, so that's very Muslim. And sorry, it's dark in here. I was meditating. I really enjoyed your talk. I think what I've struggled with is being Muslim, and I've kind of kept myself away from other Muslims because I'm no longer going to the mosque, and I don't know how to relate to other Muslims, even though I was raised Muslim. Do you have any suggestions? And because I no longer am part at all of connected with the Muslim community, but I know I could do service if I knew how to engage with them. Do you have any suggestions?
Thank you. Thank you. What I feel that one of the important things is not to let them feel that we are different from them as much as possible. So to be honest with you, in the beginning, it was not easy for me to be in the gatherings of other people, and even with because my family is expanded. I have bigger than the family which I showed you. So the family is big, but in the beginning, really, I was not comfortable in these atmospheres, and I feel I am different. But I tried my best not to show that, and to be with them as much as possible, as much as my time allowed me, and to be with them in there when they have, for example, issues, when they have problems. And the more I did that, now even my expanded family are very comfortable with me. They are calling me, you are the merciful, and they know when they have something, they will approach me in the beginning. So I feel the things which we need to work on is to let them feel that we are in the same arena. We are not separate. We are not different. And then from here, the things will come. Like, for example, even this hijab for me, it is doing service, this one. So I never think of removing it. I don't remove it even in Meduban, because I don't want to have two systems, two colors. And it is doing a good service for me. So whatever is helping to do good service, it is good to maintain. That is in essence. And I'm sure that knowing your community, you will have more ideas also.
Beautiful. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for sharing. So
Thank you.
I'm honored to have met you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Me too. Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Thank
really-
you. Thank you, Harsha Bhai, for all this arrangement, and thank you to the center, San Francisco Center. Thank you so much. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you.